My name is Teal. I work with Labor's Community Service Agency, and we are here today to provide information around layoffs and how to navigate unemployment insurance, the resources available through WorkSource that are totally cost-free, and also healthcare options and next steps available. So a couple, housekeeping rules. We've got the chat going. There are documents we've dropped in the chat that you can grab off and save for later use, but it basically summarizes everything we're going to go over today. We would also ask that everyone be muted unless they are actively asking a question. So we have a raise your hand icon you can use. You could also use the chat and put your questions in the chat, but we'll have presenters answer questions in the moment or after the fact. So they will be on till the end of the presentation. You are welcome to wait till then or ask in the moment. You can also direct message in the chat. So there's lots of ways to get questions answered, but that's what we're here to do today, is just provide support and help with navigating the upcoming layoffs at UPS. In fact, some of you may already have your hours reduced or already be laid off. There's a lot of different situations going on at that work site. So we are here to help. Please don't hesitate to ask. Again, raise your hand or drop it in the chat. And without further ado, we'll have Joy speak on unemployment insurance.
Good afternoon. If you have any questions during this chat, just raise your hand. Otherwise, I will be here towards the end in case anything else comes up regarding the unemployment information. And so we'll go over how to apply, what to do, what not to do, and so on. Okay, so how do I qualify for unemployment? You had to have earned income from wages over an 18-month period, enough income to qualify. You have to be working through no fault of your own. If the separation is other than a lack of work, which could be fire or quit, an investigation will be completed, and you must be able to work, available, and actively seeking work during each week you claim benefits. You do not have to claim benefits every week if you're not looking for work for a specific week. And then how is your weekly benefit amount calculated? The weekly benefit amount is calculated based on 1.25% of the wages earned in base year period. Right now, our base year period, if you file anytime in April, May, June, the wages we are using for a claim are January through December of 2024. So basically all of last year. If you file in a different quarter, it changes. But as of right now, if you file in May or June, April, May or June, your benefit amount would be, or not benefit amount, sorry, we would be using January through December of last year. If you've worked out of state, make sure you let us know also. And then, so basically the January through December of last year is the last 4 of the last 5 completed quarters, meaning we don't use the quarter we're in right now, which is April, May, June, and we don't use last quarter, which is January through March. We use the 4 quarters before that, and that happens to be the year of 2024. You will receive a wage and potential benefit report after filing your initial claim. If wages are missing or if you have questions, contact the office for assistance. Right now, our minimum benefit amount is $196 a week before taxes. The maximum benefit amount is $836 a week. Unemployment insurance is taxable. And we do have a calculator, an estimator showing on the screen, so you can do an estimate if you want to know how much your benefit amount would be. So to file unemployment, you'll go to unemployment.oregon.gov. And then this Francis Online will come up. Unemployment insurance are now live in Francis Online. It's an easy to use online system. You do have to sign up and create a Francis Online account. And then the first thing you'll need to do, well, is create an account. There are how-to videos, guides, and more at Francis Online Resources page. Also, if you write down unemployment.oregon.gov, that on the bottom of that page has YouTube videos on how to file and get your access letter. It has really good information. I was watching them this morning. It's really good to review and see how to go through the steps if you have problems with that. So you're going to go to the Francis Online and you're going to go in the upper right-hand corner under the blue login tab. It'll say sign up for an online account. That's what you're going to click. And then you'll fill out your social security number, date of birth, address. If your address is changed from a prior claim, you may have to get that updated at a WorkSource center because you'll get an access letter in the mail once you do register with unemployment or with your unemployment claim. The access letter will go to your address we have on file if you have a prior claim. So you do want to make sure that you get that address updated in our system, which may have to be done at the WorkSource center. And then you'll have to have your identity verified. And that will be once you get your access letter in the mail. And it's not Oregon unemployment.gov. It's just, wait a second. Hold on. Unemployment.oregon. I'm going to have to type it in a second because now I'm getting thrown off, but that just didn't look right at the moment. Sorry about that. So like I said, you'll sign up for an online account at your francis.oregon.gov. There are two ways to apply. You can apply online or over the phone. If you don't have a computer or internet access, you can use a computer at the WorkSource Center. They can't file your claim for you, but they can point you where to go and you can use their computers. So you would go to file an initial claim. Once you are in your Francis account, this starts your claim. You'll provide information about your income and employers for the last 2 years. If you don't have exact amounts or dates, that's okay. Just get as close as possible for the dates and the amounts. Then going forward, you're going to file a weekly claim for benefits for each week you wish to receive benefits. You'll need to attest that you've been able, available, and actively seeking work. Details of your work search will be requested. So each week your claim and you're able, available, and seeking work, you'll have to report 2 job applications. They call it a direct contact, and 3 work search activities. If you apply for 5 jobs, those count as all 5. Otherwise, it would be applying for 2 jobs, and then the 3 activities would be updating your resume, browsing job listing sites, attending meetings at WorkSource or other job search related workshops, interview practice, networking, anything that has to do with seeking work as a work search activity. So you're going to go to francis.oregon.gov, and then this is accessing our website. You'll go to log into Francis Online, and our customer service number is here as well. Phone calls or phone hold times can take some time. So you do want to, if you have time to wait, some people do, and some people get through quicker than others, but we also have a live chat owl on our website. And you would go to the live chat owl and you do want to make sure that you put speak to a live representative. It might take 45 minutes, but it's not the few hours it takes to get through over the phones. So you are going to log into Francis Online. And then on Francis, you can send messages, view messages, make contact. So if you send a message, Action Center, it'll tell you if you have a letter to read. And that's where you can view your messages. How do I claim a week of benefits? You'll need to file a claim for the previous week, either online or phone. There is an automated phone number to call. You're always claiming for the week that just passed. So our weeks go Sunday through Saturday. For example, today is Wednesday the 7th. If you were claiming today for last week, you would be claiming April 27th to May 3rd. So you're always claiming for the Sunday to Saturday that just passed. Soonest you can file a weekly claim is Sunday. So the week we're in right now, for example, if you're claiming this week, you can get online Sunday and claim for Sunday through Saturday of this week because you already have your work searches for this week. Sunday, Monday are pretty much the same unless there's a holiday because nothing processes till Monday night. Once you file your claim, where you're going to go to the file now, ready to file, it shows that your week is ready to file. That's where you're certified that you're able and actively seeking work that week. You'll provide your work seeking activities. The system will ask the name of the employer, the date you applied, where the employer is located, the position you applied for, and if you were hired or not. So you can keep track in a notebook or however you keep track of your work searches, but make sure you keep track so you have the dates and everything to file. And then you do have the option to sign up for direct deposit or Beyond Relia card. Your benefits will always be paid by one of the following methods. So when you file your claim, the system does ask your bank account number if you choose to file direct deposit and pick that. There are no fees associated. Otherwise, if you choose the Relia card debit card, that will automatically go onto your claim. You'll be mailed the US bank debit card. Your weekly benefit amount will be loaded every week. So if you claim on a Sunday or Monday, usually the payments hit Wednesday. I've heard Tuesday. I don't know about that, but if you claim on Tuesday, usually they hit Thursday. It takes about a day for them to process. Ensure your mailing address on file is correct so you can receive the Relia card. There are some fees associated, and that's if you're making out-of-network ATM withdrawals. If you need a replacement card, they're free unless you get it expedited, then that does cost. And then, or if your account isn't active for 365 days, there may be a fee as well. So you can sign up for direct deposit online. You would go to manage my profile, and then you would go to the payment channels and manage payment channels and set up a new payment channel. Now, when you file your new claim online, you're not going to go this route. If you're either on the phone with someone or doing it on your own, you'll put your information in. But let's say in between your claim, you say, I want to change banks or, something, then you would go this route to change your bank information and set up a new payment channel. So you'll need your bank's routing number, account number, the bank account type, and the name on the account. Unemployment, like I stated earlier, is taxable. They take out 10% federal, 6% state. You can have both withheld. You can have one or the other or none. So, and it does clearly give you an option to check. You can also change that mid-claim as well. And so you'll get a 1099 in the mail, probably around late January or February after your next claim year. And that's for your unemployment, the 1099. So you will get one. So again, make sure your address is always updated with us, your mailing address. Maintaining unemployment eligibility. You have to do iMatch skills. iMatch skills you can do. There is a link off of the Francis Online account. And I believe it's also imatch.org and .gov. iMatch skills. There is a link for iMatch, but there is one on Francis. And that's one of the requirements. It registers you for seeking work with the employment department. You don't have to have a claim, but you do need to be registered with iMatch skills when you're on unemployment. WorkSource registration and the welcome process. Thank you, Bob. It's imatchskills.org is the website. And so the two things are iMatch skills and the welcome process. The welcome process you do have to schedule, and you can either go in person to the WorkSource Center. I would go earlier in the day in case you have to wait a little bit, because if you show up at 3 o'clock and they close at 4:30 or 5, you may not get in. So I'd go earlier in the day. You can use a computer to work search. But you do have to do the welcome process where you meet with someone one-on-one and they go over your eligibility, make sure your iMatch is complete, see if you need any resume help or anything like that. Classes they have available, trainings that are potentially available, but it is a requirement. Make sure you do read. You'll get a letter that says here's a checklist of things you need to do, and it'll be checked saying you filed your claim. Keep reading the letter because it also tells you of the requirements. You also have to verify your ID. There's 2 ID verifications. One is on Francis when you file your claim. One is in person at the WorkSource Center. So if you think you already did it, you have to do it twice, and it's basically for your protection to prevent identity theft. So it's either 1 primary and 2 secondary documents, or 2 primary documents, and they are listed on this page. They're also attached to the letter that you receive in the mail. So if you have a passport and a license or ID, those should be good as long as they're valid. And then secondary documents can be social security card, birth certificate, W-2. There's a whole, if you have an auto insurance, health insurance, those are secondary documents. Gas bill, water bill, make sure your address and account number are showing on those. Make sure your passport and social security card or social security and passport are both signed, because if they're not, we're not able to accept them. Make sure you always check your mail as well. I say check your paper mail and your Francis online account always. There are people that don't look at it and don't know what to do. Always check. I log in every day or 2 to make sure you're not missing anything. And then the 3 A's of unemployment insurance: you need to be able, available, and actively seeking work. So you must be physically and mentally capable of performing the work you're seeking. To be available, you must be willing to work full, part-time, and temporary work during all days and hours customary for the type of work you're seeking. Being available also means being capable of accepting and reporting for suitable work opportunities in your labor market. Actively seeking work, you must do what a reasonable person would do to return to work as soon as possible. To meet this requirement, you must have the 5 work searches each week. And I've repeated this a bunch. It's in here because it's important. So your 2 direct contacts, and then the 3 activities. If you have an interview, if you're already filing your claim, this counts as an activity. If your claim is filed, if you have an interview, anything that has to do your welcome process, IMAP skills, those count as work search activities. But make sure you fill those out. There's also a question on the claim that asks if you're in a closed union where you can only seek work through your hiring hall. Your union is not considered closed, which means you're able to seek any work that you're able to do. So you're not going to mark the union box, and you will need to be reporting the work searches and work search activities. Avoiding common unemployment pitfalls. Waiting week credit. UI law requires a waiting week. This is the first eligible week that you claim benefits. You have to claim the waiting week. You don't sit and wait for the waiting week. A lot of people say, well, I filed my claim and the waiting week never came. You have to claim it, and you have to be able, available, and seeking work for the waiting week to get credited. Don't wait to file your initial claim. The first eligible week that you file would credit as a waiting week. And then if you do travel outside of your labor market, so if you're away for more than half the week, you may not be eligible for benefits. If the week is claimed, your claim will be reviewed for eligibility. There's a question on the claim that asks, were you away from your permanent residence more than 3 days? If you were, you would say yes, and it would be reviewed. Just remember, if you go on vacation or if you're not looking for work, you don't have to claim a week. And then you can just restart your claim when you're ready to claim again. And then your labor market is where a reasonable person in your line of work would seek work. It varies by job and depends on where the employers in your industry are located and the normal commuting distance for workers like yourselves. Availability. Being available means you should be able to start work with an employer if they asked you to start working for them immediately. Potential availability issues could be no childcare, lack of transportation, if you're sick for more than half the week or hospitalized, if you're attending school, if you start your own business, if you can only work specific day shifts or hours, those do have to be reviewed for eligibility. Other important information, unemployment claims generally provide a minimum of 26 weeks, 6 months of benefits. So your claim lasts one whole year. It's open for 52 weeks. You have 26 weeks that pay out. You don't get 52 payable weeks. Some people use them all. Some people use a few and get other work. If you work part-time and work less than 40 hours and earn less than your benefit amount in gross earnings, you can still claim and report your hours and earnings when you work, not when you're paid. And you might get a reduced check, but it still stretches out those 26 weeks. So I say you might get 28 weeks, 29 weeks, depending if you're working part-time. It just stretches out those 26 weeks, but you do have to report your hours and earnings when you work, not when you're paid. And then no need to close your claim. Let's say you either earn too much on your benefit amount if you're working again and you make more than your benefit amount. If you're sick, if you're on vacation, if you don't feel like claiming a week, you don't close the claim. You just restart your weekly claim when you want to claim again. So if you don't make a weekly claim for benefits one week and then you file again later, you may need to restart your claim. You can do that on our online claim system. And you may need to call us if you're having issues or use the live chat owl and they can potentially help you there. Now, one other thing is if you get any payouts, any vacation or holiday pay that paid out and you're no longer employed, you do not have to report that. There's a question on the claim line that asks, did you work or receive vacation or holiday pay? If it's a payout, you don't have to report it if you're not employed. You're working less than your benefit amount. Like I said, you can report those hours and earnings when you work. You can also, if you're working, use that as one of your direct contacts, the employer. So let's say I'm working at Fred Meyer. I can put Fred Meyer, give the information and say worked. So that does count as one of your work searches or direct contacts. You don't want to repeat your work searches and activities every week, unless of course you're working every week somewhere and you're earning less than your benefit amount. Do we have any questions? I will also be here till the end of the presentation in case anything comes up.
Thank you, Joy. I don't,
You're welcome. You're
I don't have
welcome.
any hands raised at the moment, but we've been monitoring the chat as well. Feel free if anyone does have a question to unmute and ask. I also want to flag that there is an option to say I'm temporary laid off, but that is, well, Joy, could you speak to that?
Yes. So temporary layoff is if you have a full-time, a concrete full-time return to work date within 4 weeks of your layoff date. If they say you're coming back in a few months or I'm not sure, that's not a temporary layoff and you want to be reporting work searches. And then I also wanted to touch base on the self-employment and the TUI program, which is the schooling. So you can go to school and potentially be eligible for benefits. There are certain programs that qualify for our program. It's a separate department, but the questions would be different on the claim line. So instead of asking for your work searches, they'd ask about your schooling and if you attended classes and whatnot. And also the self-employment assistance program you have to qualify for. And that's if you want to start your own business and get a business ID and you're working on your business. You do have to be approved for that. But if and until you're approved for any of those programs, you do need to do your welcome process, IMAT skills report, work searches. Even if you think you're going to be approved for one of these programs, if and until you're approved, you have to be reporting work searches as you would on your regular claim. Once you're approved, the questions will change and that's different, but that's really important.
Thank you, Joy.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We know that was a lot of information. So again, just remember, we've dropped documents at the top of the chat and they go over step by step how to file your weekly claim, how to register. And again, Joy will be on. You can direct message her in the chat. You could wait till the end and ask the question then as well. So thank you, Joy. And now we'll have Frederique come up from.
Hello. I have a question.
Oh,
Sorry for interrupting.
no, you're okay. Go ahead, Aiden.
So I was like, I don't know if this is all the same. I don't know if everyone's here for UPS, but so I don't know how the contract works. I don't know if you guys know it, but if I'm laid off indefinitely, which is probably going to happen come July, and they say, I don't know how to say it. They say either I'm on call or like when work becomes available again. Does that mean I have to actively search for a job or am I like on call?
You have to be seeking work because you don't know when you'll be starting again. Like if they, you don't know if you'll be going back or not, right? When they say on call, you don't have any specific hours or is that correct?
Yes. So they said I have options to pick on where I want to go if they do end up calling me.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't refuse reasonable work, which isn't driving 3 hours away.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then if and until you get full-time work, you do need to be reporting work searches with other employers because on-call does it, if even if you work a day, you'll report those hours and earnings when you claim. But you do want to be seeking other work as well if you choose to claim.
Okay, that's what I thought. Thank you.
Mhm.
That was a great question. And yes, this is a UPS specific session. So we know there's a lot of people with circumstances depending on where you are on the recall list, which shift you're on, if you're there till the closure July 1st, if you've been reduced ahead of that. We know there's a lot of things going on. So please ask your specific questions because we want to make sure we get you the best answer that is in tune with your situation. So thank you, Aiden. Frederique, let's have you come up and speak on WorkSource and the resources available to workers.
Hi, hi everyone. Was there another question? No. Hi everyone, my name is Frederica and I work for WorkSource. If you can get me the next slide, please. And the next one. I work for an organization called ERCO, Immigrant and Refugee Community Organization, and this is one of the partner programs that you can see here on the slide. So first off, WorkSource is a public one-stop system with universal access. The only eligibility is you must be 18 plus, and you must be here with a legal to work authorization, which only applies to certain services. Even if you don't have, but all of you have. So I'm not going to go into this. So WorkSource is a one-stop system. There is no wrong door. You can walk in, and the more specific you are with your interest or with your need or with your requests, the better we can route you to or channel you to or refer you to the right partner, the right person to talk to. So a WorkSource consists of just roughly the so-called WIOA programs, which is us, the training programs, also youth programs and work experience programs, you name it, all across the region. It's the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act programs. And then secondly, we have Oregon Employment Department, OED. And then the third piece would be ODHS, vocational rehabilitation, and then Oregon Commission of the Blind, OCB, and other community partners. So it's really a consortium of a lot of partners, which is why I want to stress again, if you walk in, and you're welcome to do that anytime between 8:30 and 4:30, Monday through Friday, and I'll give you the locations in a later slide. You're welcome to do that. The more specific you are, the better we can serve you. Next slide, please. So WorkSource is providing employment services designed to, number one, assist you in getting started in a new career. Maybe some of you is thinking of transitioning to a new career. And by the way, we have a workshop called Career Transition. I'll talk about that in a second. Number two, if you are here for WorkSource, you're in the right place because we provide services that advance you in your current career. And then number three, teach you successful job search techniques. So don't worry if you don't know all the job search techniques because you've been working for a long time and it's been a while since you've done your resume. Don't worry about it. WorkSource has services, and we can assist and we can help you with that. Next slide, please. Roughly, we consist of 3 different, I don't want to say departments because everyone does a little bit of everything, but we have certain teams that focus on exploratory. You just do not know what your next step could be. If you want just to explore a little bit the market, where is growth, where is decline, what would be a good next step. We also have teams that focus on training and skills. I am, by the way, the manager of one of the training teams at WorkSource Northeast. So training and skills. So everything related to post-secondary education. That could also be computer skills. That could be, I'll go a little bit deeper in the next slide. Number 3 would be career services, job readiness. For example, if you receive SNAP, which is food stamps, and you come in and say, I just need some basic, I have an interview coming up, or but I don't have gas for my interview to get to my interview, or I don't have the right work boots. I have a job lined up. That's what career services do. So they're basically talking to you about job readiness. What does it mean to be job ready? Business services, which is the job connection. We've lately, just recently, seen some cuts and that in funding, and that affected our business services, but we are still here. We're still standing strong, and we try our best to connect to and welcome businesses and connect customers, job seekers, career seekers to businesses, to employers directly. Next slide, please. I want to, yes, this is even, Teal, participating in WorkSource activities counts as one of your work search activities. And this is, I believe, even mentioned in one of the later slides. So I'm gonna stress that too. WorkSource services, I can't talk enough about our in-person and virtual workshops. In the next slide, you'll see how many workshops we have and what the areas are, but we do have in-person and virtual workshops in all different kinds of areas. And I'm just going to mention once again the career transition workshop, which is in person, and it's a peer cohort style workshop. And it really is about meeting as a group, as a small peer cohort on Thursday mornings for 2 hours with one of my staff, career coach Emily, and she is talking to you about career transitioning, and she also lets you talk. What are your plans? What are you planning for your next steps? So that's a wonderful opportunity to not only get connected to the job market, but also to get, I guess, connected maybe back to your skills and what do I really want and what do I really need and what do I need to consider if I want to transition to another career. So that's the workshops. And then basic skills development. We do have a lot of basic skills workshops that are basic, ranging from basic computer skills to GED. Maybe you want to go back to school and get your GED. Will help and support you in this endeavor. Occupational skills training, that's my expertise. We do provide scholarships for occupational skills training that can range from a flagger training, which is only a day, a few days, depending on the provider. So I'm not going to go deeper, but flagger training, we have lots of medical assisting, we have lots of healthcare related occupational skills trainings. And we also have clean energy trainings. We have early childhood education trainings. They really range from 1 day to 3 day to 1 month to 6 weeks to 6 months up to associates, multi-term training. So just come on in, talk to us, And we can advise you in what training might be a good fit for you if you intend to go back to school. We also, I will say that WorkSource has focus industry areas, which is manufacturing, construction, clean energy, early childhood education, and probably I forgot something. Healthcare, did I say that? Early childhood education. And we have a strong focus on the maritime industry at the moment. If you have ever dreamt of working on a ship, that's your time. We really have a strong focus there. Maritime industry, we have a very strong focus on early childhood education. But overall, in the Portland metro area, our focus is on manufacturing, construction, and clean energy jobs. Job search assistance and placement, yes, we do have programs where we are we're trying to get a person job ready and connecting directly to a business, directing this person directly to an employer. But really what the strong focus is, we are trying to teach you job search techniques to do it yourself. That is really what we do. And then we have resource and computer labs. That means we have lots of computers, we have printers, we have scanning, we have lots of resources available. Also for people using the wheelchair, we have adjustable desks, we have all different kinds of resources. If you walk in and you need to print out your resume, we like to do that for you. No problem. You can work on a computer for a couple hours if you need some space and time to work, and just if you need help with anything. So please come on in and we can refer you to resources should we not have them ourselves. And then resources and computer labs, I mentioned that, and then specialized services and programs. One that comes to mind is we have programs for veterans with a disability. We have also self-employed programs. That is what comes to mind. Next slide, please. Yes. Workshops. I promised I would go a little bit deeper into our workshops. We do have interview prep workshops. We have a partnership with Goodwill Industries. They are doing a fantastic job in just partnering with us, coming to our different WorkSource locations and provide interview workshops, among others. So Goodwill Industries is one of our partners. We have interpersonal skill workshops, we have career exploration workshops, we have community resources, which is a webinar, really. You would, a monthly webinar, you get presented some community resources around you. Then we have a resume help that I want to point out, because that is the easiest to access. It doesn't even require a registration. You can just walk in to WorkSource Northeast on 30 North Webster Street. Go to our website, you'll find under locations, WorkSource Northeast, and only there you can find a resume help desk, which is really not a workshop, but a resume help desk, as the name says. So you can just walk in and say, I need a resume, or what do I do? And one-on-one, you'll get help. No appointment necessary, no registration necessary. What else? We have supplemental workshops. The one that I can think of right now is, for example, we have workshops in every location to help you through the scholarship application should you decide to go back to school and decide for a training. How do you apply for a scholarship? Why not find it out in one of our workshops, which is called WorkSource Portland Metro Scholarship Workshop, I believe. So we have it all. Thank you. For the next slide. And yes, that's my favorite slide, because additional benefits of accessing WorkSource. Engaging qualifies as a work search activity required for unemployment insurance. Teal mentions it in the chat. That is very true. Just sign up for a workshop and you already have one work search activity for your week. Also, proud partner of the American Job Center Network. And lastly, all services are free. So welcome to WorkSource, and I hope to see you there. And I believe that's it. If you can give me the next slide. Oh, no, locations, of course. I said I would present those. We have a WorkSource location, Beaverton, Hillsborough. We have one in Tigard. We have one northeast, which is us in North Portland, and 30 North Webster Street. And then we have one Metro Southeast, which is Southeast Works on Foster. And then we have one in Gresham. So really everywhere. And you know what is missing? The one which is called WorkSource Express, which is downtown Portland in the basement of Central City Concern. So we even have one more. And I'm not sure why this is not showing on the slide. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 WorkSource centers. You are probably close to one of them if you look at the map. And again, go to the website and you will find the locations with address on the website. And there is no wrong door either. If you walk into Southeast, but then you decide to get a scholarship at Northeast, and then you get to decide some job search activities with the help of Beaverton Hillsborough, totally fine. That's not a problem. We're all in this together. We're all one. And I believe that's it. And thank you for your time and coming today. Are there any questions that I can answer?
Thank you, Frederica. I don't see any in the chat and I don't see any hands raised, but feel free, like Aiden did earlier, to just jump in and
I'm
ask.
here.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. Bob, let's have you come up now to touch on the regional business services side of WorkSource Oregon.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Bob. I am based out of the Tigard office. I am a business and employment specialist, and we are part of the regional business services team. Next slide, please. So we work both helping job seekers to find jobs. Specifically on my side, we work with employers to find employees. What we really want to talk about is the importance of iMatch skills and utilizing that service along with something called qualityinfo.org, which is a website that you can use that is state reported information such as wages, employment rates. So if you are looking for a particular job, if you want to see what the salary range, the real reported salary range is for the position, you can by all means check Glassdoor and these things, but they are not as official, so to speak, as Quality Info. So you can see if a job is posting a good salary range. And so what we do is on our side is we work with businesses who are looking to post jobs with us. And when they post those jobs with us, they are looking to match with job seekers registered in iMatch Skills. Now, if you haven't looked at iMatch Skills yet, you may have a little bit of shock when you first access it, as it is a little bit older than most websites that you might be used to. I was definitely very skeptical when I claimed unemployment and I signed up for iMatch Skills. But the functionality of it is really good, and I cannot stress enough how valuable of a resource that it is. One of the best things about it is that any job that is listed on iMatch Skills has to be a real job. Me and people on my team, we make sure that any business that is listed on iMatch Skills has been approved and vetted to be a real business, to be paying state taxes within Oregon. So we know they're a real company. We never want to say 100% guaranteed, but in my time here, I haven't come across any scams or anything like that. And I'm sure if you haven't noticed yet, but will do soon, is LinkedIn and Indeed and those kind of websites. Unfortunately, there are a lot of scam jobs or list building jobs where employers just want to have your information on record and then spam you with emails. They can't do that with iMatch Skills. So what we recommend is that when you create your iMatch Skills profile, make it the best it can be. So if you are matched with a job, an employer can see everything that you have and all the valuable skills that you can offer. The ways that employers can match to you, there are two ways. First one is an employer can create a job listing. They just put everything, the requirements, how much work experience they require, and then they can run a match. They would click match and they would get a list of people. They don't get names, they don't get contact information. They just get a list of resumes or however you've put your information there that they can look at, and they can send those job seekers a notification that draws attention to their job listing. And then should the job seeker wish to apply, they can, and that's how the details will be exchanged and they would get contact information. The other way that we do that is we offer a prepaid, because it is paid by payroll taxes. It's not free, so to speak, it's payroll taxes. A system where we will screen candidates for positions. So a company would contact us and say, hey, we have 5 openings for security guards. For example, that's just one I did today. We will then contact people, job seekers that we find in iMatch that fit the requirements of the position, and give them a call, see if they're interested in the job, and see if we can then connect them and give them a kind of 1 foot in the door ahead of the game. It's also, again, why iMatch Skills is really good. A lot of job listings from iMatch Skills have direct email for hiring managers as opposed to a job link where your application can go in with hundreds, thousands of other people. They might just put in a phone number and say, call us here if you're interested in this position, send us an email. Sometimes they do link to an external job application, which is fine as well. You're welcome to do that. You can also come in, or you can give us a call if you do need any help navigating through iMatch Skills, if you need any assistance with quality info, if you're looking to see what kind of industries are hiring, what the kind of competitive wages are. We wouldn't just tell you this is quality info, go and do it yourself. So you can contact us, you can come into WorkSource, you can reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to help. But I guess if you were to take anything away from a lot of talk is that iMatch Skills is really good, even though it is kind of dated. Please do take the time to make your iMatch Skills profile the best it can be. We can help you with it when you come in. If you have questions, people have mentioned there are courses about resume building, cover letters, and then when you do your orientation conversation as part of your unemployment claim, we can go over your iMatch Skills profile and make sure that it is as up to date and clear and readable as possible. And that way, either employers who are matching and seeing your resume or our team who are sourcing for a job, we can see and we can contact you because we know you're a good fit. And that's it. Any questions?
Bob, that was great. And I think you hit every point very succinctly. Basically, Bob and Bob's team are there for you as soon as you're ready to actively be seeking new work. So your resume is good to go. You're starting to apply to jobs. Maybe you want to change careers. Maybe you're looking for something similar, but that's when Bob's team really can help make connections because they have ongoing relationships with employers all over the state who are looking to hire. So definitely use their services. Again, cost free, as Frederica mentioned.
Sorry,
And
one more thing to plug
yeah,
as well, and a new thing. So, recently, due to a couple of internal changes, I am now essentially in charge of the WorkSource LinkedIn, and we are posting content there every day. We have a general cadence of 10 a.m. every day, but if there's more stuff to post, I'll post it throughout the day. But there's a lot of hiring events that are flyers that are posted, meet the employer, career fairs, opportunities to change a career. There's a lot of really good information that we post every day on LinkedIn, and you know that if it's from WorkSource Oregon, it's real. It's not just a scam or something. If we say there is an event at this time on this date, this is the position or positions that are available, it's going to be good. Like I did one, we have one today that is in I think it's in Oregon City, but we have one today that's related to working in the prison systems, other ones that are related to engineering with Union Pacific in a couple of weeks. There is a summer camp that's hiring for counselors, but such a variety of things to do. So I do recommend checking out the WorkSource Oregon LinkedIn and just seeing what might pop up on there for you as well.
that's such a great tip, Bob. Thank you for that. Michael, we will have you now come and speak on healthcare. And again, if
Yeah,
anyone has questions, just go ahead and throw them in the chat or raise your hand or unmute.
perfect. Yeah, thank you, Teal. So I'm going to just take a little bit of time and talk about some of the different options that are out there if you're going to lose health insurance coverage through UPS, and you're concerned about making sure that you have new coverage in place. We want to be the group that helps you with that process. So go ahead and go to the next slide for me. So they're really kind of split into two different sections. There's public programs and private health insurance. Of course, on the public side, you're going to have OHP, which is the Oregon Health Plan, the Bridge Plan, which is kind of an offshoot. It's a newer program that they have, Medicare, and of course, VA benefits. On the private side, you're going to have your coverage that like you'd have through UPS, Cobra coverage, which would be a continuation of that coverage, direct purchase, so that's coverage that you would get directly through an insurance carrier, and then coverage that you can get through the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace. And then the important caveat is the Oregon Health Insurance Marketplace is the only place to get coverage and actually get help paying for the coverage. So, important thing to consider in those decisions. Next slide. So starting with Cobra, again, that's going to be a continuation of your active employment coverage. The difference is it's quite a bit more expensive. So unlike when you're actively employed and your employer is paying a portion on your behalf, you'll unfortunately be paying the entire sum. So the amount you paid, the amount your employer paid, plus an administrative fee to carry the coverage, can be very, very expensive, and it can really be hard to maintain that, especially with the change in income that's associated with the job loss. So things to consider there. An additional component is if you do elect Cobra coverage, um, we would caution you that if you were not able to maintain it, then you would have to look at something else or look when there's an open enrollment period in effect. I did see a question come into the chat about Washington folks, and unfortunately, perfect. Yeah, unfortunately, you would use Washington's health system, which is or marketplace, which is very similar to ours. Um, a lot of what I'm talking about, they'll have similar components to. It just won't be exactly the same animals. So we would want to get you connected with the Washington Exchange for help there. Next slide. So on the private side, again, you can go directly through an insurance company, but it's not ideal. It's fairly siloed. You have to look at plans for each different carrier separately. And again, there's no kind of help for paying for those costs, either premium or out-of-pocket costs. On the flip side, if you do go through the marketplace, you're quite likely to be getting some financial help to pay those costs. And it also gives the advantage of, because it's not a single carrier, you can look at all the different plans available to you in your region and have a better concept as to what's out there and available to you. In either case, though, you do have to enroll during open enrollment, which typically begins in November, and it has gone through January, though that could be changing. And then you can also use what they call a special enrollment period, which would be generated due to situations like loss of employer coverage. Oh, awesome, Teal. Thank you so much. Yeah, the information for the Washington Health Benefits Exchange is posted in the chat there. So definitely encourage you to get a hold of those folks. And if you have questions, you're welcome to call me or my team as well, and we can get you connected directly there also. So don't hesitate. Even if you're a Washington resident, you're certainly welcome to call us, and we'll just get you connected to the appropriate person on the Washington side. But again, yes, loss of employment sponsored coverage is definitely a reason that you would be qualified to go in and get new coverage. Next slide. So types of financial help. So what type of thing can you get help with? Well, both your premium tax credits, which will help to offset those monthly premiums that you pay to keep that coverage in force. And that's good on any marketplace health plan. And then cost share reductions. That's going to be to really direct to out-of-pocket costs. So things like copays and deductibles, and even your accumulators, like your maximum out-of-pockets and whatnot. Those are all reduced by those cost share reductions. Now, you do have to use those on the silver level plan, which is kind of like the second or mid-level plan, if you will, unless you happen to be American Indian or Alaska Native, and then you can use those on any plan. Next slide. So Oregon Health Plan, or OHP Plus in this case, that's the Medicaid program in Oregon. So it's completely free coverage, and it's available all year. So there's no open enrollment period or special enrollment periods. It's available anytime as long as you qualify. Generally speaking, they're going to look at some pretty typical income, household size, age. In some cases they'll look at age, blindness, or disability as well. You can kind of qualify at a little bit higher income level in those cases, as well as if you're pregnant. So great program, very comprehensive. If you qualify, I would encourage you to utilize it. It's a great way to fill in the gaps between, employer plans or whatnot. Next slide. So I talked about the bridge. That's a new program this year. Again, still state-based medical coverage, still based on similar eligibility requirements. But it does let you qualify at a higher income limit than you would for Oregon Health Plan Basic. So, you might not qualify for normal OHP, but you might for this. Still going to be free, still going to be very comprehensive, and it's still available all year. So something to consider. Next slide. So Medicare, of course, if you qualify, generally folks 65 or older, unless you have a disability that qualifies, and in some cases you can get it much younger than 65. It is administered federally through the Social Security Department, so you'll have to apply there. And they're going to have similar open enrollment periods to what we have on the private insurance side. They'll have the initial enrollment period. Of course, if you lose group coverage and you're eligible, that's another reason you can get in and get coverage. Then there's also an AEP and a general enrollment period for Part B. So lots of different ways you can get in there if you're eligible. Next slide. So this is just kind of an additional one for the Medicare costs. A couple different programs, both of these, the Medicare Savings and the Limited Income Subsidy, can really help with those prescription and medical costs that are associated with Medicare eligibility and Medicare coverage. And a great resource to get information on these or get connected is the Aging and Disability Resource Center of Oregon, and their contact information is at the bottom of the slide here. So encourage you, if you have questions or you qualify for Medicare, that'd be a great place to reach out to you. We're a little bit more limited in our information with regards to Medicare. It's kind of a whole different animal than what we work with on the private side. Next slide. So just to kind of recap, keep some things top of mind. Again, really look at all your options. The biggest thing of all, though, is know that you have an advocate. We're here to help you. My whole team, which is like 20 of us, so we're small, but we're mighty with regards to wanting to help folks. So know that we're here to help. We've got some great tools on our website at OregonHealthcare.gov. One of them is our window shopping tool. With just minimal information, you can get a real clear picture as to what kind of plan you could get and the costs and how that might compare to not just your employer plan, but what the COBRA costs might be and how those might differ. As well as our Find Local Help tool. We have a fantastic network of local navigators, what we call assisters, that are community-based organizations, as well as licensed insurance agents that partner with us and can help you completely free of cost to really go in and look at your options. They can help you in person, over the phone, virtually, kind of whatever your preference is. They can help, and they are worth their weight in gold as far as their knowledge. So I would recommend you definitely seek those folks out if we can't help you. But again, feel free to give us a call as well. But big thing, keep in mind, you do have a limited amount of time to act if you're looking at private coverage or COBRA. So both of those you're going to have to do within a 60-day period after losing coverage. You got to elect COBRA within 60 days, and you got to get in and get new coverage on the private market within 60 days. So keep those in mind. OHP, not the same animal. That could be done any time of the year. And with that, I'll turn it over for questions if there are any, and happy to help.
Hey, Michael, would you throw your number into the
Yeah.
chat? so people can call,
Absolutely.
just because I know a lot of people have very specific situations with healthcare or
Yes.
doctors or medications or upcoming surgeries. And so I think a lot of times people need some one-on-one support.
You got it.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. And then while Michael does that, I just want to conclude with a reminder about 211. 211 is an organization that brings together community resources, whether it's on their website or through their app, if you download the app, or if you call 211 on the phone and get a representative. But what they do is they pull together current resources available, and anyone can call at any time. You don't have to have a qualifying event, but maybe you need some food support. Maybe you're looking for low-cost childcare so that you can get back to work. You know, whatever you might be seeking, they are the ones with the up-to-date information on local resources. So we always like to remind people that 211 is an option at any point in life to contact and get help that way as well. Also, it is cost-free to contact them. So that is our presentation, and I don't have any questions in the chat that we didn't already answer. Now would be the time if anyone wants to unmute and ask questions. We've still got all the presenters here. I know we went through a lot of information, so a reminder that the documents are at the top of the chat. You can grab them out and save them that way. We've also given these same documents to UPS leadership and also Teamsters 162 leadership. So they have them as well. And then we will, at LCSA, we will upload this recording to our YouTube channel and we will send out the link so you can access this presentation after the fact. And not seeing any questions. So with that, we'll wrap up. Thank you, presenters, for your time. Thank you to those who came and attended the session. We really appreciate you guys, and we hate that these layoffs are coming and everything is so uncertain for y'all, but I hope this helped remove some barriers around how to access unemployment and also hopefully educated you about all the cool stuff WorkSource can do. And we know healthcare can be daunting. So like Michael said, give them a call, let them help you one-on-one. And we put the Washington information for the residents on that side too. But thank you guys so much. Thank you, presenters. Appreciate everyone's time. Rodrigo, we can cut the recording.